It's time for NRCS Party Line today for your Friday, January the 20th, 2017. NRCS Party Line today is brought to you by Wimmer Opticians of St. Cloud, Atlas Family Chiropractic of Waite Park. In studio with me, we've got Dennis Fuchs, Administrator with the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District, SWCD. Good morning, Dennis.
Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Happy Friday.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, we missed you last time.
I was on vacation, yeah. Now I'm back at it. Rick Berscheid also with us, District Conservationist with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS. Rick, how are you?
Very good. And you, Brad?
I am, you know what? Can you see the smile on my face? Can you see the expression of joy I have just because you two are here with me today?
Wow. You do look like a ray of sunshine.
Thanks. Cutting right through that fog this morning. Oh, how are things for this 2017?
Good. Good and busy.
Really?
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on. As a matter of fact, speaking of stuff going on, we just, Ben Rulli in our office went through and did the preliminary buffer assessment to see how we're sitting with the Minnesota buffer law. And as most everybody knows, public waters will require a 50-foot buffer. Those areas identified on the DNR buffer map, November of this year. And then the ditches, judicial ditches, not private, are also going to be required to have a 1 rod or 16.5-foot buffer by November of 2018. So one of the things that we needed to do was to do the preliminary assessment to see where we are at with buffer compliance already. And we had a pretty good estimate that just looking as we're driving around, and a lot of our places are going to be in compliance already. So Ben Rulli, our soil conservationist, GIS specialist in the office, took a look at 11,679 parcels. This is they evaluate each parcel for compliance with the Minnesota buffer law, and 94% of those were compliant, which is phenomenal. So that means only less than 4% are flagged as non-compliant. And there's approximately 430 parcels, approximately 330 landowners that we will be following up with a letter and a map. We hope to get that letter out toward the end of February and include a map of the area that looks like could use some additional buffer. And there's options for the landowner just to do that himself or herself, and also CRP. And then recently now the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program could also potentially be an option for these landowners. And if you're wondering what that is, that's a combination of the Conservation Reserve Program and the state of Minnesota RIM, Reinvest in Minnesota. CRP is usually a 10 to 15-year contract, and that's a rental agreement for so much an acre, which varies from 80 to 150, depending on how productive your soil is. And then the RIM rate, that's a perpetual easement. So once you enter it in there, you wouldn't be able to do a lot of any crop production in the future, but you get paid a much higher rate, and that's based on the township payment rate, and that can range up to thousands of dollars per acre for that. And supposedly with the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, they're going to have some minimum acreage, so they're not going to allow a contract to be developed for half an acre. I think they're talking 5 or 10 acre minimum to be participating in that program. And they're looking at 60,000 acres across Minnesota, and Stearns County is completely in the priority area. The priority area stretches from the Red River Valley through Stearns County all the way down to southeast and southwest Minnesota. All the southern half of Minnesota is covered. You might have to excuse me once in a while, Brad, because I had a cold and I'm recovering from that. You know how it is.
I hear you. If you need a cough drop, let me know.
Okay. Hey, thanks. Thanks for the cup of coffee.
Got what you need. You bet.
So we also have 276 parcels that flagged as needing an additional assessment. So we'll have to go back and, we use aerial photography to help identify if the buffers are in place. And then we also have to try to determine where the streams are, looking at the DNR buffer layer, pulling that up. Doesn't always put that line in the right spot. So there's a significant amount of work that Ben did in order to get all this information. And all this information was sent to the Board of Water and Soil Resources. That is a state agency that is going to be administering the buffer law. And every county in the state of Minnesota is throwing this in. And then they're going to take this information and share it with the legislators, and they'll have to see if there's going to be any additional tweaking with the buffer law with this legislative session. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But the reason why we're also trying to get that buffer letter out the end of February is because we want to let all of the listeners, landowners, farmers know that we're going to have an ag workshop on Tuesday, March 14th. And you're going to be hearing more about that at our February radio show. Brad, if we get scheduled in February, don't let me forget. That'll be at Elmer Z's in Sauk Center. We're working with the Sauk River Watershed District on putting this on, along with the Stearns County Environmental Services Department. And we're going to be having the premier buffer guy, Tom Guile, from the Board of Water and Soil Resources, come in to talk about the buffer program and help answer any questions that landowners might have at that. We're also looking for a DNR representative to help answer some of the questions, but the DNR is more involved with the actual public water inventory, and that map hasn't been really updated since the late 70s, early 80s, so it really needs to get updated. As we went through this process, we saw lots of areas that weren't correct and needed to be modified, and I think the legislators are somewhat reluctant to open it, though, just because it's a lot of work, and there's going to be a lot of comments and landowner concern too when they do open up public waters and what is a public waters. So that's a big thing going on, and we'll be visiting with the Stearns SWCD board at their February board meeting about a letter that we'll be sending out and the information that we'll be sharing with all of the folks out there. And I just want to reemphasize those timelines. July, or I should say November 1 of 2017, that's the compliance. So nobody's out of compliance yet, so if it's not established or planted by November 1 of 2017, then we have some concerns. That's for the public waters where you need the 50-foot buffer. And then for ditches, like I said, that would be November 1 of 2018.
And you got to determine who's going to enforce this once those deadlines pass.
Yes. Right now, we have an option of either the county watershed district or state doing it. The SWCD will not be doing any enforcement. So you won't see any enforcement from our office. Our office is to help to make sure that folks that have needs for technical assistance to be in compliance, that we help address that. And even if they have questions about what to plant or what programs are available, one program I forgot to mention is the Sauk River Watershed District has their hayable buffer, and that's another program that's out there. And if anybody's interested in any of these programs to even evaluate your current buffer situation, just give our office a call.
Let's take a break. And if people have more information they would like to gather, they can call during our break. We've got Rick Berscheid, Dennis Fuchs with us in studio here on Chasm Radio. NRCS Party Line will continue in a moment. It's some light fog. It's 34 degrees, 9:30 news time, Minnesota News Network. All right, NRCS Party Line continues. Visiting with Dennis Fuchs from SWCD, Rick Berscheid from NRCS, talking about the Stearns County buffer compliance at about 94%. To be enforced at the first deadline is November 1st, 2017. That's for the public waterways. So, Dennis and Rick, if you guys had a preference, or if you have any kind of desires, who would you prefer endorsing, or not endorsing, but enforcing that law?
I think if you can keep it local, there is some advantages to getting it done more quickly and making sure that we're all in agreement. And I know the last year the legislators put some funds in there for the county to do local enforcement, but that bill did not get passed, and they may be picking that up again this session to provide that financial incentive for the county commissioners to take on that responsibility. the county commissioners need to let the Board of Water and Soil Resources know by the end of March if they would like to do the enforcement. And hopefully by then we'll have some more legislative guidance on what they're going to provide for funds. And if not, the county commissioners might say, we're going to let the state do it at first. And they can always opt in with a 60-day notice and take over enforcement. So that's something. They left it very flexible. If the locals do want to take it over in the future, they certainly can.
So are more funds going to be needed on the local level than the?
I would think so. It'd probably be conducted out of the Stearns County Environmental Services Department with Shelley Benson and her staff, and it would probably need at least a part-time person to help pull some of this enforcement and compliance issues together. But we do have time yet to get some of that stuff pulled together.
Okay.
I do want to just mention one other. I mentioned CRP, and some folks, if you have CRP or are interested in CRP, there is a workshop coming up, and this is going to be at Litchfield, and that's going to be February 2nd, and they're going to have two sessions, 3:30 to 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And this is going to be at the Litchfield VFW right on Highway 12, and it's sponsored by the Meeker SWCD, NRCS, FSA, Pheasants Forever, and a lot of the folks at private contractors that help get seating established. And it's a afternoon, evening that'll help you walk through CRP planning, planting, and maintenance of newly enrolled CRP contracts. It'll include topics selecting the right seed mix, prepping the soil for seed, selecting the right drill for seeding, management after seeding, what bills to turn into FSA. Let me just say Farm Service Agency for reimbursement. What to expect in years 1, 2, and beyond. And then following the presentation, there'll be Ask the Expert panel, discussion with several local vendors who specialize in seed sales. And there's going to be door prizes. I said door prizes.
I like doors as prizes.
And then grand prize is a 10-acre drill rental voucher from the Meeker SWCD. And it's free to attend, free snacks and beverages, and meet and talk with the local vendors about their services. And if you would like to go, grab a pencil, and I'll give you a phone number here in a second. That's February 2nd, 2017, at the Litchfield VFW, and they got two sessions, the 3:30 to 5 and 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. session. And if you're interested, you call Josh Pommier, Pommier. I hope I said that name properly. And the phone number is 320-693-7287, extension 113. Once again, 320-693-7287, extension 113.
Free?
Free.
Okay.
Yep. So it's just another opportunity to learn more about CRP. And if you have recently enrolled or even thinking about enrolling a potential buffer area, this would be a great opportunity for you to learn more. And with that, I think we should talk a little bit about the Conservation Stewardship Program.
From CRP to CSP.
Yeah, keep it in the C's.
That's a good
That's
transition.
kinda cool.
All right, I'd just like to inform our listeners about the upcoming deadline for the Conservation Stewardship Program application period. That is February 3rd. So just a few weeks away here. And just touch a little bit on CSP. This is the third time that the program has been looked at and revamped, and this last version here is supposed to make it a little bit easier for producers to understand how the program works, how the payment system works, and to get the information out there. I just want to go over a few of the payment rates and how the program works. So to start with, there's a minimum $1,500 annual payment per year. The program is a 5-year program. The payment is broken down into two separate sections: existing activity payment, so that's essentially what you're currently doing, And then there's an additional activity payment, which is based on enhancements or practices that you choose to do on your operation. And the payment rates the last time around, the payment rates were really difficult to understand because we had to enter in all your information into a evaluation tool, and it spit out a point system, a number, and then you took that number times so many cents and you got your annual payment rate. It was hard to understand. They simplified it now, so they have flat rates. So the payment rate per acre on cropland, pasture cropland, which is essentially a higher quality soils that's in pasture, and farmstead is going to be a flat rate of $7.50 an acre. So if you are running 200 acres and we go through the valuation tool and you're deemed eligible to apply, you would get $7.50 an acre times your 200 would be your payment rate for your existing payment rate. On top of that, when we go through this evaluation tool that we have now, you will also get an additional payment of $350 for each resource concern that you meet. And we won't know how many resource concerns that you meet until we go through the evaluation period.
There's going to be cap on that somewhere, right?
There's 7 different resource concerns.
Okay.
So from what we can tell from our training version of this, so everything's in draft now, but running through some examples, people are meeting anywhere from 1 to 4 resource concerns, approximately. But it's all site specific. So you may be above that, you may be at the lower end too. So that'll be easy to determine what your existing payment rate's going to be. And then they're going to have rates based on kind of like our EQIP program, where if you're going to do a certain amount of a practice, let's say planting cover crops, it's going to be a flat rate per acre. So that would be on top of that payment. So there's 2 parts to it. So the application period is February 3rd. If you're interested, you need to get an application in by that date. We'd like you to come into the office. We can discuss some of the enhancements that are available, go over the payment structure again, inform you on how the process is going to work. It is a new version, so we're learning as we go here too. We just had another training session here yesterday on it. So we're just getting the information now, and we're able to tell our producers a little bit more about it at this point. But February 3rd is the date to remember. Got to get in the office, get an application in by that time, then we can go from there. And just like any of our other programs, we just need to make sure you're eligible through the 2014 Farm Bill. So for the adjusted gross income, the wetland conservation, the highly erodible land conservation, all of those things we need to take care of as well, which we can walk you through when you come into the office.
Okay.
And I have another item to talk about, Brad. This is a Cropland Grazing Exchange. I'm excited about this. I was part of the group that put it together. It was mainly put together, a lot of the heavy lifting was done by the Minnesota Department of Ag. And the mission of this is a website that we're talking about. The mission of the website is to connect livestock producers with crop producers who are willing to incorporate livestock on their land for the purpose of increasing biodiversity. And there's lots of different benefits that you can get about adding livestock to cropland, essentially, or even idling pasture land and other things as well. The biggest thing is to improve soil health. As producers become more specialized, they may sell their cattle and just be a straight grain crop farmer, or may just focus on the livestock portion. We've been seeing over the years where more producers are becoming more specialized. So this website is to help producers interact with each other to try to bring diversity back onto the landscape. So what are the benefits for the crop producers? Well, for Cropland Grazing Exchange, the website can help you connect with someone that may have livestock in your area that may be looking for extra forage or grazing your crop residue to extend their grazing period so they can rest their pastures and keep them out of the feedlots and keep them out on the landscape longer. So there's a lot of benefits for the crop producer that he gets out of that by having the livestock on the cropland, such as, the manure and the additional benefits to soil health. And then for the livestock producers, the benefits of connecting up with these cropland people that may be interested in having the livestock out there is to extend their grazing period, so you can graze later into the fall and even maybe get out a little bit earlier in the spring if we had some, say, cover crops growing in the spring. And that'll help cut down their feed costs, and it'll help cut down, say, hauling manure and a lot of other items too as well. So how does the website work? Well, the website is, and it's not live right now, it should be live starting here early next week. It is www.mda.state.mn.us/CGE. You can also go right to the Minnesota Department of Ag website and type in CGE, and I believe that'll probably get you to the website as well. So this is a public website. Anyone can go in there and zoom into it and see if there's any fields available to be grazed, or if there are any livestock producers in their area that are looking for land, essentially.
So essentially, you're going to have to get people to go to the website and say, hey, I'm available for if you need cropland, or if you need the cropland for your livestock to graze. They're going to have to say, hey, I'm available, get a hold of me here.
Exactly.
That's the deal.
Right.
Okay.
So you can go there. It's free to the public to go there to view. If you're interested in putting on a icon or a dot that you're interested, like you said, Brad, you just got to create an account, log in, put in your information about like your livestock herd. Say I have 100 pair, and I'm looking at some extending my grazing season in the fall and the spring. Someone else can go in there and say, hey, there's someone within my area that's willing to travel X amount of miles, because that's collected as well. Maybe I should contact this person to see if they're interested in bringing their cattle to my land. They click on the link, and then what's going to happen is that first person who had the livestock will get an email saying, Brad is interested in adding livestock to his cropland. If you're interested, please call Brad at this number. So it's essentially going to be a telephone book for livestock producers and cropland people, or people that have forage to communicate.
Not necessarily a way to make more income as far as renting out that cropland. Is that the case, or is it just not?
Well, the intent of the website is try just to bring these people together.
Okay.
Any agreement that they have, if they want to charge for the renting of the ground or charge for putting the livestock on there, that's between the producers.
That's their deal. Okay.
The website is just trying to increase that diversity on the landscape by getting cattle back
Matching
out
up the right people with the right
It's
people.
like farmersonly.com here.
For
For soil health purposes, exactly.
Got it.
And it is a really nice, simple website to use. It's got to just get out there and spread that this website is available at the upcoming cow-calf days. Kelly Anderson from the Department of Ag, and Jeff Duchesne from the NRCS, and Tom Gervais from the NRCS, and also Kent Solberg from the Sustainable Farming Association will be presenting and demoing this website to those folks. And then also at the upcoming Soil Health Summit in February 15th and 16th at the Fergus Falls, they'll also be demonstrating the website to get the word spread out there. But I'm excited for it. I think a lot of producers will see the benefit in it. You may not know, there may be a guy 5 miles down the road from you that is looking for additional land or has land available for you. And this is a great way for people to come together and see what's out there. And then they can contact each other and then see where it goes.
No, this is not just countywide. This is statewide, or is it only countywide?
No, this is statewide.
Statewide, okay.
So it is, the website is been developed by the Minnesota Department of Ag, so they're the ones that are going to be doing all the administration of it. It is statewide. You just go in there. It's color-coded versus forage versus livestock. It's real easy to navigate through. There's search parts that you can look at. Say you're looking at just looking for something to graze in the summer. You can, it's really easy to navigate through there.
And you were one of the key people to get this going?
Yeah, we've been talking about this now for the last couple of years. That was one of the things that we heard from producers is, I've been hearing all this stuff about soil health and about trying to get livestock back on the landscape. I don't have any cattle. Who has cattle? Who's willing to do this? And then on the other side, a lot of the livestock producers, I only got a few acres. I need to have more land to graze, so I'm not feeding as much. Who's available for me to contact to maybe say rent more pasture or get them out there on corn stalks or graze some cover crops? So thought, well, we've been hearing this from a lot of people. This would be good if we do a website of some sort. So that's kind of how it started a few years ago. I'm excited to see that it's up and running. It's going to be live now. You take that idea, that concept into reality is pretty neat. So anyone that's interested, stop by the office. You can contact Kent Solberg again from the Sustainable Farming Association, Kelly Anderson at the Department of Ag, any of the NRCS grazing specialists. Come see me at our office. We'll get you going down the right path.
Rick, we've got our ag workshop fair coming up March 14th, Tuesday, out at Elmer Z. Do you know if you'll have some information available there in case there's farmers showing up that would like to learn more about your grazing exchange?
We are going to have 2 booths at that workshop. One of them is going to be just demoing this website, getting the word out there again, and walking producers through it, how it works and the benefits of it. And then we'll also be having another booth for the client gateway system as well. That is NRCS's essentially online banking type of system where you can sign up and do a lot of your interactions with NRCS, signing forms, documents through that as well. So we'll have both of those booths there.
Wow. That sounds really cool.
Going back to the whole, if there's a monetary exchange, do you think the website will have it'll be okay if people say, okay, I've got this cropland available. Here's what my rental fee will be, for instance. Can you think that'll be okay to post, or is it just you can only say I'm available?
What we have in there for features to put in is first you set up your contact information. So you put in your name, address, telephone number, email, because that's going to be the main contact for people to get a hold of one another. And then you're going to put on there, let's say I have some livestock. I'm going to put on there the type of livestock it is, how many head I have, how far I am willing to travel, and then am I willing to put up any temporary fencing or watering.
Oh, okay.
And then on the cropland side, you'd put in there what type of fields you have available. Is it a pasture? Is it crop residue? Or is it a cover crop? And how many acres you have? And when are you willing to have someone put cattle out there? So the winter or the spring. And then those are the only contacts that will be on there or attributes for what's available. If it looks interesting to you, you click on the link. You'll send that person an email. They'll get the email, and then they do what they want to do outside the website.
Got it.
It's just to try to link these people together.
And then who's got to put the fence up?
Well, that is something, again, will be decided between the livestock producer and the cropland producer. Again, it's just trying to link these people together to get that conversation started. You can see that there's something available in your area, and every case is going to be site-specific. You may have some old barbed wire there. There may be nothing. You may have a place where you could hook up to a well. There may be some water on the site, such as a pond. Every spot is different. We try to keep it simple and let the producers figure that out on their own after they made that first contact.
Super. All right.
One quick item yet here, Brad, before we wrap it up.
Go
today.
for it.
The Stearns County chapter of Pheasants Forever, they're having their 34th annual banquet, and that's coming up here Saturday, March 4th, and that's going to be at Elmer Z's in Sauk Center. And the doors open at 5:30 p.m. The banquet starts at 7:30 p.m. And the Stearns County Pheasants Forever chapter has been a premier organization to work with in our office. They really support some of the activities that the Soil Water Conservation District, NRCS, is involved with. And they also have been very proactive in supporting our outstanding conservationists. And this year, Dan and Crystal Lai will also be recognized at the banquet on Saturday, March 4th. Hopefully we can see a bunch of you out there. The pre-registration or early registration goes until February 18th, and you can get the registration form on their website, which is www.stearnspf.org. And once again, that's the Stearns County Chapter Pheasants Forever Banquet. That'll be Saturday, March 4th at the Elmer Z's facility in Sauk Center.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us once again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. We're looking forward to our next gig on it's Wednesday, February 15th.
That's right.
All right, listeners, put it on your calendar. We'll have a lot of additional information to share with you then. Especially, we had some questions about mowing ditches and permits. We'll gather some additional information and share that with the listeners at the February 15th radio show.
They can call you at the office if necessary.
Yes, 251-7800, extension 3.
All right, Dennis Fuchs and Rick Berscheid, thanks for your time today. Do appreciate it. Minute in front of 10, we've got news coming up.